Hey y'all, and welcome to the Sorry Not Sorry Generation podcast, where we bring you a not-so-healthy dose of humor and reality as we get our hands dirty with some serious nostalgia and question everything.
Let's dive in.
Hey y'all,
Hello. It's Misty.
it's Ani.
Today we are watching Eclipse. Is the halfway-ish point because technically
We made
two
it halfway through. Let's go.
Yeah, like this is a little over. This is like the halfway point because there are two Breaking Dawn movies.
Give
Which
me
yes,
my
we will
bloodthirsty
splitting.
babies.
Yes, this is the one of the most interesting of the Twilight movies. I will say that because there's actually action in it and not just trauma and stupid drama and more pointless drama. So
I was obsessed with the scene where where we're basically reliving Jasper's time on the battlefield with the baby vampires, and I'm just like, just reading it, just was great. I'm like, yes, this is what I want. Violence. Show me real vampires and bloodlust and bloodthirst and all of it.
Yes.
And limbs being ripped off and heads being snapped in half. It's just like, yes, and then I get none of it.
Yeah, that's fair, because I love the fact that they went into detail about Jasper's history. He has such an interesting history. But at the same time, this series is action bait. Baiting the whole time.
This whole series is clickbait.
It is for actual fighting and action because it doesn't really do enough. I will say in the books, Eclipse is action filled. It's not nearly as action filled in the movie, but I love hearing about Jasper's history just because I think it's interesting. Granted, he fights in the Civil War for the wrong side, which the wrong side is the South because there's only one right side in that war. Let's be honest here. Because I might have lived in Texas for 10 years, but that does not mean I agree with that. No. Because that's a bunch of bullshit. However, Jasper's history, just of being that old, is really interesting to me. Because he's the second oldest vampire in the family, in the Cullen family, the only older one being Carlisle, who has everybody beat by quite a bit. He's from the 1600s, is that right?
He can't be that old. Was he that old when he turned Edward?
I can actually answer that for you. He was born in 1640 and was changed in 1663.
Oh, shit.
He's 23. He's 20.
You were on point with the age on him.
I was a huge Twilight nerd when I was younger. A huge Twilight nerd. So I know more than I would like to. In nowadays, too much of my brain is taken up by useless Twilight information.
Hey, that's content to this.
Fair enough. I do stand corrected that Esme was the oldest one at the age of 26. So, and she was
robber.
She was transformed by Carlisle in 1921. So
yes, after Edward. So Edward was his first family, and then it was
Esme, and then it was Rosalie, and Rosalie is the one who turned
Emmett.
No,
no,
I do stand corrected. She found Emmett. Carlisle transformed him because she was worried that she couldn't do it. So
that makes sense. Yeah, but I remember her being the one that found, is the reason that Emmett is part of this family.
Yeah, she found him in an alleyway, I believe, dying. I think. Not entirely sure about that one, actually. But then again, I didn't read a whole lot of Emmett's history, to be honest, because I was more interested in Jasper's. So, who was born in 1844, just for the record, and he was changed in 1863 at the age of 19. So, but he was a major in the Civil War, the youngest major that they had. So.
A major at 19, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking young. Even for back then, that's really young. So, but despite his not great human history, his vampire history is very interesting, considering that they use the vampire wars as an explanation for some of the wars that took place in the South after the Civil War, especially around with Mexico and everything. So, which is an interesting way to combine it, and is probably better done than as a history in this series than like the history of
the Quaaludes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not gonna get over that, but I've done my tirade for that one, so we can get into my tirade about Vampire Wars as we watch the movie instead. So, because there'll probably be one at some point. But yeah, today we are going to start with Eclipse, and hopefully this one is a little more fast paced because there might be some action. Maybe.
I
Who
can
knows?
only hope. It's been so long. This is like the one movie I don't remember.
Same, actually. I think that because this is like one of the movies I didn't actually go back and like watch more than once.
Yeah.
And like it's not because it was bad, but just because it was not as relevant, I guess, as the other ones. Because like this is the mini war to the later war and like all that. So, but yeah. So this should be fun. I'm looking forward to actually seeing the movie that I know the least about again.
Same.
So,
See, it's like kind of sort of watching it for the first time. I'm really watching it going, I remember that now.
Yeah, this is the one I'll be like, shit, I don't remember that. Which I've learned as we've watched these that I remember way more about Twilight than I thought I did. So,
Sasquatch.
I will say that seeing that Sasquatch statue in the background of Twilight was a new one for me. That was new.
You've seen it so many times that your eyes are just like, what else can I spot?
I'm always focused on the bear.
Seen before.
I'm always focused on the bear, and like I never noticed the Sasquatch statue behind it. So I'm interested to see what I'll notice this go around.
All right.
But I am just interested in every Jasper scene that they have. So.
Of course.
But hey, you're always interested in the Emmett scenes. So not that he really gets a lot of detail.
He doesn't get a lot of screen time, but it's okay.
Like they talk about most people's. Well, that's not true. They don't talk about Esme's history at all, and then Alice doesn't remember her history, so they can't talk about that. So they don't talk about Emmett. They don't talk about Esme, and they don't talk about Alice's history. So, but in all honesty, Emmett's history wasn't that interesting, and Esme's history was interesting-ish, like interesting adjacent. Alice's history is just fucking wild.
I've got the best history.
She's like, she was turned by, I think, James, and like he knows her and like all of this, but at no point does he indicate the fact that he knows her. And it's just kind of like, what the hell? Like I think it was James that transformed her. No, an unnamed vampire who worked in a mental institution. But I know her history is tied in with James. Also, her real name's not Alice, it's Mary. Her middle name's Alice. But Mary Alice Brandon, I believe, is her full name.
Such a white name.
Yeah, it was a real bad name. But considering what era she's from, like, it's not a surprise. So.
Fair.
But let's kick off this movie because holy shit. Oh, this is Riley starting off the movie with this poor victim of a vampire.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah,
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, so there's a lot of murders taking place in Seattle in the beginning because Victoria is creating her army. And in the first scene is this poor dude, and his name is Riley, and he ends up getting really twisted in with Victoria.
Like now, just
and
pummeled into the wet ground.
Yeah, she kind of like Stockholm syndromes him really hard, and he becomes her second and everything.
That's why the name is familiar. That's right.
Yeah, that poor kid who just gets really fucked up by her.
Unsuspecting child. Like he's cute too.
Yeah, he is. And like she tortures the crap out of him before she changes him.
This bitch likes to play with her food.
Yeah, she is a cat of like a vampire.
Honey, you can scream help all you want. You can't even see her.
But there are absolutely people that were in that building he was just looking at.
Yeah, and no one came out to be like, how did you end up halfway across the street?
Well, why would he not just run into the glass and start pounding on it? Like, come on. Why would you immediately run?
And why would you stand at the very edge of what is this, pier?
Yeah, he's standing at the edge of a pier and just screaming.
Oh, because she bit into his arm on the way, like running next to him?
She ran past him and bit him, but before that he's just standing there screaming, "What do you want?" It's like clearly to murder you.
Why does her teeth mark look like it literally looks like he's got 5 marks, like pinpricks on his teeth. Like he's got like pinpricks on his on that part of his palm, but like she's only got 2 incisors. She's not. They don't have teeth like sharks.
Yeah, but Twilight vampires don't have sharp teeth at all. Like they don't have fangs. Twilight vampires don't have fangs. You okay with that revelation?
I don't think so, because that's the whole point of vampires is the fangs.
Yeah, Twilight vampires don't have fangs.
I mean, fine. They sparkle and they don't have fangs. They're just useless.
Yeah, their teeth are just hard enough that they can just bite through your flesh. So,
ow. I'd rather have fangs.
Yeah, same. Which would be a lot less messy.
But even then, Riley's hand, like the pinpricks, looked like literal pricks. Like,
yeah, they don't really. It doesn't really
look like teeth at all.
And there's not enough to be teeth either. So it's not like Victoria's losing her teeth. She's a fucking vampire. She's not losing her teeth left and right. Unless, I don't know, she had a weird thing where she just started pulling out her teeth. So
awkward laughing and smiling in the meadow in the sunlight.
Yeah, like the first scene of
and Edward he just asked her to marry him. She hasn't graduated high school yet, but you want to marry her, but you won't turn her.
Like the first scene of Edward and Bella, they're in this field, and he just fucking asks her to marry him. And
he calls it a compromise between her wanting to be turned and his demands. She calls it. She's like, that's coercion.
She does. She's like, that's coercion.
Smartest thing she said so far.
Honestly. The marriage is just a piece of paper thing does kind of rub me the wrong way in that you really just want this man for the ability to be turned into a vampire. Like, she's not interested in marrying this man.
No.
She does not want to have a family with this man. She just wants to be a vampire.
Pure Stockholm Syndrome, ends up getting married and having a baby.
Exactly. All the things that she didn't want.
At least her kid grows at like 3 times the rate of a normal child.
Oh yeah, her creepy.
So it's an adult in what, 5 years?
Yeah, her creepy demon child. Who, by the way, like, Renesmee grows at an extraordinarily rapid rate. You better hope she adapts socially at that kind of a rate too, because otherwise you are going to have an adult vampire with the mentality of a 5-year-old, which is
isn't that one of the reasons they?
No, the reason they forbid like the changing of babies is just because like you had a mortal demon.
That yes, but also the Volturi aren't very fond of the idea of having hybrids.
That's true. They did, for the most part, just kind of sweep the fact that they exist under the rug as much as possible, which is stupid because it is the best way to fit in with the human world while actually still like maintaining those abilities and powers. Though they never really did define how much weaker she was than the Cullens. So, and I love Charlie. After all of the bullshit that's happened.
You know why you're being grounded, right?
Yeah. It's like he's still trying to parent and he's trying hard. And it's just like, this is a girl who is beyond help. Like, beyond help.
I want you to get some separation, honey. Charlie, I'm seeing the red flags of your boyfriend.
Yeah, Charlie identifying the toxicity of this relationship right off the bat.
And she's just going, okay, thanks. Bye.
She's just like, I don't care. He's toxic. I'm toxic too, Dad.
I will unground you if you agree to spend time with people other than Edward.
That is a brilliant parenting move by Charlie, though. Bribe her to see other people besides the person keeping her in an abusive relationship.
And then she says you should. And then he says you should go hang out with Jacob. And she's like, oh.
She's like, I'd love to, but I can't. It's like, one, he's not answering her calls at that point. But two, Edward's going to do everything in his power to keep her away from him. So, which is just stalkery and stupid anyway. And super fucking controlling.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, like, I love how they show you this note that you can't read on screen. Like, they just fully show you this handwritten note that you cannot read on screen. Granted, it's in the book, and I read it in the book, but I can fucking read it in the book. You can't read it on the screen.
Where is she going?
Oh,
where is she going?
It's about to be a creepy stalker man again. Controlling creepy stalker man. Because why won't Bella's car start when she decides to go visit Jacob?
Because the vampire boyfriend decided you're not going anywhere without my permission. And
also the vampire boyfriend who is super fucking controlling, but also doesn't know anything about cars, so you very well just could have permanently broken your car.
She says you scared me when she hears him whoosh into the car, but like her facial expression does not change.
True. I would be so pissed.
Is she realizing it yet? Alice saw a vision that she was gonna go see Jacob. She told Edward read her mind and said, "I'm not gonna let that happen."
And it's just like the most controlling bullshit ever. And it's just like, and she's like, I want to go see my friend. And he's just making the decision that she can't. And she's like, oh, he's sorry. He's sorry. Oh, I'm sorry you're controlling.
No, you know what? I'm
psychopath.
sorry. I'm sorry for the next person that tries that.
Honestly. And it's just like,
Oh,
no.
you're gonna decide when I get to see my friends and how? There's the door.
This is like, you know what? I realize that I want to be a vampire more than I want to be with you. Because I don't want to marry you. I don't want to have kids with you. I don't want to be with you.
And guess what? I can go find another vampire to do it.
Just so many fucking. She could go to the Volturi because guess what? One way or another, in a couple years, the Volturi are going to show up at her door, wondering why she hasn't been turned yet.
Exactly. She can just show up to them and be like, I'm ready now.
Yeah, just be like, I'm ready now. And the Cullens don't want to turn me. I want to obey your laws that you set forth. And just really just get what you want and fuck the Cullens over all in one go. And be like, they're disobeying the laws. I still want to be a vampire and follow your laws. Please turn me into a vampire. And then guess what? Bippity boppity boom, she's just a vampire. And because the Cullens didn't do it, didn't break the treaty, and she could still be friends with Jacob if she wanted to be. But at the same
the
time,
Cullens didn't do it. The Volturi did. So yeah.
By
that logic, her and Jacob can stay friends.
Yeah. Just like I don't think the Jacob's gonna see it that way. But like if you want to apply super logic and no emotion to it, yeah, sure. But Edward and Bella's relationship is just the most toxic. She has to actively work around Alice's visions to go visit her friends. And it's just like, oh, how psychotic are you that either of you think this is okay? That's why I just think Alice and Edward should be together. They're both controlling psychopaths. They're just like they would have made a much, much better couple.
Yeah.
Just like put like not that Bella needs to be put out of her misery because she's just a miserable person who enjoys her misery. But like put Jasper out of his misery, man. Just like,
let Jasper go.
Let him go, man. Let him find somebody who's not a manipulative, psychotic bitch. Clearly, I don't like Alice. I mean, she's okay. I liked her in the books. I don't really like her so much in the movies. But the more you think about it, the more you don't like it.
The fact that no one says anything that Cullen is now sitting with them.
Yeah. I did learn the other day that Mike and Jessica are both not from Forks.
Where are they from?
He's from California and she's from Texas.
He's a Cali boy.
Yeah. He's from California. She's from Austin, Texas. I think he's from San Francisco, if I remember right.
Jasper, how many times are we going to graduate high school? As many times as it takes.
Sacramento, California, by the way.
Ah, he's a northerner. Meh. Oh, Alice is having a vision. And now Edward's about to shit his pants because he just read her mind.
Yep. And that's how you know all the shit's gonna go down. Oh, and right off the bat.
Lies. I know you know what she saw. Tell me. It's nothing.
Yeah, he's just lying to her. Like, she knows that he saw Alice's vision because he freaking read her mind. But he refuses to tell her anything, despite the fact that that vision is of Victoria and directly impacts Bella's life. He's like, no. I'll decide what information,
Oh, God, I hate people like that. No.
If we ever get to the point where we have merchandise for this podcast, we're going to have to do something that says, creepy, creepy stalker man and saltine girl. Like, I think I want to wear a shirt that says creepy, creepy stalker man and saltine girl on it.
With the graphic that we made for the poster? Yeah, I want that.
Yeah, me too. Oh, the vision was of the Volturi showing it.
I forgot
the Volturi are in this movie. I love how repulsed Charlie is.
Charlie's like, oh, he's here.
It's like,
why is he here?
This thing.
What airline ticket? Yes, he wants you to drop everything and go.
He's literally telling her when she has to take a flight. Distance. I love how Charlie just hates Edward. It's
So
like, oh
much.
great.
I would too if I had a kid and
Oh yeah.
saw what my kid went through because of another person that they were quote unquote in love with. They'd be on my
Absolutely.
shit list.
I like look, I don't think I'd be a great parent, but like if my kid was hanging out with somebody who did all the shit that Edward did, fuck that. And
Bella
Bella's
looks
just
so uncomfortable
like
under
she
the
goes to
sun.
yeah, like she goes to visit her mom in Jacksonville and she's just like, I'm gonna miss being in the sun. You can't not it's not like you can't be in the sun. You just can't be in the sun in public. But then again, the glittering is so fakey. You could really just pretend to be a stripper and it'd be fine.
Even her mom is aware. She's like, "Who wants to go to University of Alaska?" And Bella's like,
Yeah.
"It's got a great science program." Her mom looks at her in the face, just goes, "It's got a great Edward program."
Mm-hmm. And like her mom is flighty as hell, weird as hell, and the most like unresponsible person on the planet. But when she's pointing out the fact that there's something super intense and wrong about your relationship, you should listen to her. Like you should listen to her.
Right? And she's like, "You
Because
act different." She's like, "You're different around him." She's like, "I just want to make sure you make the right choices." Honey, listen to your mother.
please
Even the
listen to your
flighty
mother.
one.
Like when every adult around you is telling you there's something wrong with your relationship, look, there comes a point when you have to listen to them and be like, maybe evaluate your life. Also, like they're in Jacksonville, Florida, and Edward is in the scene sitting at a table
In the
with,
house.
yeah, fully in sunlight in this scene. Like he is not in darkness. That is sunlight coming through there. He ain't glittering. It also really just pisses me off that Bella is just fully willing to destroy both of her parents because they're gonna have to think she's dead. And like you're just cool with that? What the hell?
Like, I know we bring Charlie into the mix.
Yeah. And
Do we
like
bring
they never say
Renee?
what they do with Renee, in all honesty.
I don't remember Renee being brought, but I remember Charlie because like he's so involved in like the
Yeah,
Quaaludes.
Jacob brought him in.
Yeah.
And because Jacob showed him. But like it bothers me the fact that Bella is just totally willing just to let her parents think that she just died. So she can go off and live happily ever after with Edward.
Like I have thought about like if I got the chance to become a vampire, how would I go about it? I wouldn't want to wait till I'm old because I want to look nice.
Yeah.
But also like
I would just
I would definitely tell my parents and be like, "Listen, I did a thing."
Yeah. Like there's no way, like as much as I think it'd be awesome to be like an immortal creature and everything, like definitely I don't care what secrecies they want you to hold to, definitely telling my parents.
Yeah.
Like well, my mom. I'm not gonna have my mom live the rest of her life thinking I just died when I just went off to become an immortal vampire and said like what the fuck. First of all,
I give my mom a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I've caused a lot of shit from my mom. I have. I'm not gonna deny that. Woman's been through hell because of me. But even after all that, I'm not gonna leave my mom in the dark and be like, "Oh yeah, I was here one day. The next day, I fucking died, and I'm gone.
Yeah,
No
like,
body, no nothing."
Like, why would you do that to somebody, especially somebody you're supposed to love? And like, for one thing, I'm pretty sure my mom would just be down with becoming a vampire too. Like, she'd just be cool with it. And honestly, I think I would tell people. Like, I just don't know if I would be down with like just letting like you and like Ariel and Mylan just thinking I was dead. Like that would be really hard on you guys, and I just don't think I would be cool with that.
I would probably figure it out at some point, but like she's not dead, but I'm pissed now that she didn't tell me.
Oh, girl, like if I got turned into a vampire, my second stop after telling my mom would be like, "Hey, honey, we'll be vampire."
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. We're gonna live for a couple millennia. Let's fuck shit up.
Easy, Emmett. Easy. You're not after the wolf.
Like they could catch Victoria, the wolves, because like there's a very long scene of everybody running after Victoria, like the wolves on one side of the treaty and the vampires on the other
side of the treaty.
Catch her if they just actually cooperated with one another and stop having this massive pissing contest over a ravine divide.
It's literally the river, and it's like, oh no, me on one side, you on the other. Do not cross the river. It's like, if we just work together to catch this one bitch,
And
all of these problems would go away.
she's literally playing you against each other on purpose to test your weaknesses. Like, are you kidding me right now? Granted, Victoria doesn't get caught easily because that's her superpower. It's like she's not catchable. And which is, like, it makes more sense. Thank God there was an explanation for it. Like, that's her ability, because otherwise it just makes all of them look terrible.
So much is wrong.
Oh, yeah. But we have to make a deal. Like, if you get turned into an immortal creature of any kind, you have to tell me.
Oh, I'm 100% gonna tell you.
You have to fucking tell me, because if I at some point find out, I'm gonna be so pissed, and I'm gonna become an immortal creature and spend eternity coming to kick your ass for not
That's why I
me.
will definitely tell you and not keep you in the dark. I don't want you coming after me.
Yeah, like,
I want to work together with you, not against you.
Yeah, because even if I wasn't turned into an immortal creature, I would live for hundreds of years out of spite. I could run on spite, and I would find you. It's just like, we have to live long enough to see space travel in a way that it's common, because I just want to fucking live on a different planet. I want to go meet some aliens, Star Trek style, and just choose a more or less problematic planet to live on. Like, let's go live on Vulcan, okay? Like, this is much better, people. We could be the weird humans on Vulcan. That's fine. So I was like, I'm down with that.
my list of people to inform when I have crossed over to the immortal zone is you, Aaron,
Your mom.
my mom. I don't think she would, but I definitely tell my mom, like, these are your options. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
I feel
like it's not necessarily about whether or not she chooses to be immortal. It's just like telling her so she doesn't think you're just dead.
Oh, I tell Geneva.
Geneva. Okay.
So those 4. The rest can figure it out.
Yeah. Like, I would tell my mom, I would tell you, I would tell Mylin, and I'd tell Ariel. And that's my list. This is the 4 people for me too.
Oh, Jacob's back.
Jacob and his motorcycle.
Oh, look at that angsty face.
He looks so pissed. Oh, Jacob dropping bombs about the fact that Victoria's back when Edward won't fucking tell her.
That's why I like Jacob so much more. Like, he actually tells Bella information to keep her in the loop.
Yeah.
You keep someone in the dark, then they're going to be even more of a target.
Just, like, fully aware of the fact that these things directly impact Bella's life. And that, as he just said, she has a right to know about the fact that this woman is back threatening his life, or her life.
Trying to protect you. You're keeping her in the fucking dark.
It's just like, that's the problem with, like, a lot of, like, horror movies and action movies and stuff like that. It's like, when somebody's after somebody, like, the guy never tells this family that, hey, they could be in danger, so they don't know to look out for it. So they just put themselves in dangerous situations. Like, if you just told them, then they could look out for themselves better.
Edward, no, you don't. You don't trust. Edward, you have to trust me.
Yeah, he doesn't trust you, honey. He's never going to trust you.
No.
He's he took apart your car so you couldn't go visit your friends. Jacob looking all smug while she gets on his motorcycle.
Just going for a ride. Yeah, sure we are. I love how when she asked him, though, why haven't you returned my calls? And he looks at her and is like, I had nothing to say.
I mean, that's an appropriate 16-year-old response while being angsty.
Oh, look. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 guys shirtless.
So it's Embry, Quill, Paul, and Jared.
Oh, yeah. I forgot they can all read each other's thoughts.
That would be awful. I feel so bad for Leah.
I'm on Team Leah.
Me too. She gets the short end of every fucking stick. Like, Emily is her cousin and her best friend, and is now, like, imprinted, married, dating Leah's ex, who broke up with her to be with Emily. Like, that would fucking suck.
So much drama. So much drama.
Also, Leah shifting for the first time is what gave Harry a heart attack and killed him. So she blames herself for her dad's death. She broke up with her boyfriend that she's been madly in love with for years and assumed she was going to get married to, and killed her dad. all within like a couple of weeks or probably a couple months of each other.
Girl's got a lot on her shoulder.
And then finds out that her ex-boyfriend is dating and pretty much mated married eternity with her cousin slash best friend who's been like a sister to her whole life.
I'd be very salty.
I'm not entirely sure how Leah hasn't murdered somebody. Mostly Sam.
You know, I think if they just set Leah loose on Victoria, it'd be over.
Yeah, just let her go, man. Just like, fuck. I would read a series just about Leah, just for some justice for Leah Clearwater. Like, honestly, she gets the short end of every single stick. However, interestingly enough, in like the scene where Bella goes to their house and like all the werewolves come out and like we just named them, there was only 4 and Sam. There should be 5 because her little brother Seth changed on the same day Leah did.
Right.
So her little brother Seth isn't in here. I'm not entirely sure Seth is in the movies as a human at all. I don't remember seeing him I remember seeing him as a wolf at some point, but I don't know if we ever see him as a person. Because Seth goes with Edward and Bella to the mountain to fight Victoria later in this movie.
But you know what I also don't get? Like he's now like Jacob is now explaining to Bella how imprinting works and how their whole like mating thing, whatever it works. Yeah. And he goes into he tries to make it obvious that like imprinting doesn't necessarily mean romantic.
Yeah.
Imprinting means that you have this pull, this connection to this other person.
Yeah.
And you will be whatever they need you to be, whether it's an older brother, a protector, a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, right?
Yeah, which is really bullshit.
It is, because eventually it's going to lead to you mating together.
But like also at the same time, it means that this person, the person who's in the werewolf, has to be whatever this other person needs.
Yeah.
Like that is very one-sided. Because the other person doesn't have special abilities or like the idea in the guide is that Emily, when she saw Sam after he transformed for the first time, felt drawn to him, but like nothing on the intensity of the werewolf level. Oh yeah, this is what Bella needs. Another angry dude.
Yeah, but his anger is justified. Like he's just
That's fair.
It's like you're gonna give up your life in a month. You're gonna stop breathing and enjoying lively things.
Yeah, you're willingly dying and letting everybody think that you're just gonna be dead. And like Jacob's pointing out the very real flaw in this.
And Jacob's like, you haven't even lived.
And he's
and you're making this decision.
She's 18. She hasn't lived shit. She hasn't done anything with her life. And she's just totally cool with the fact that not only is she just not going to live any of it, but her whole world, everybody she knows is just going to think she's dead.
Like, she wants to keep Jacob in her life. She fucking can if she turns, because there's a whole vampires versus Quaaludes.
Yeah.
In the treaty. That being said, when she does have her kid, and we realize that that's why Jacob was always attracted to her, was because he was
which is fucked.
Imprinting on Renesmee.
Which is an egg in her body.
Renesmee doesn't even exist at this point, and he's like around her constantly and feels so strongly towards her.
The fact that it was like that's why he was drawn to her is so fucking
bullshit.
There is an entire possibility, for the record, that if in an alternate universe her and Jacob ended up together and they had kids together, that egg that he's attracted to or attached to became one of their kids. He would be imprinted on one of their kids. And like they say, like it doesn't necessarily have to be like a romantic relationship where you are whatever this person needs. But how fucked would it be? Because then his feelings for Bella just would lessen in intensity right off the bat.
Playing favorites with your kids in the most fucked up ways.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, you imprinted on one of your kids.
I never went that far.
And like everybody else is in a relationship.
Yeah, my mind never went that far as imprinting goes, but
also I did read that somebody said online, it's just like, half of Renesmee is Edward. So there is a brief period in time where he would have been attracted to Edward. Granted, when that would have happened, Edward was on the island with, well, not necessarily, because if he can't make new swimmers because he's a vampire, then he should have always been attracted to Edward. Like that, because Renesmee who he imprints on is half of Edward. So
I guess
technically,
the Bella side won strong on that one.
I mean,
But
I guess.
also, like what I was trying to say earlier is that the whole imprinting where it doesn't have to be romantic, even though it ends up being that way.
Yeah.
He goes to such lengths to make sure that Bella understands that when he's
Yeah.
telling her. And then when he finally meets Renesmee and tells her, like, oh, I've been printed on your daughter, and she flips out. It's like, he told you.
Yeah.
Just because you just had a baby does not mean he's gonna go and try and bang your like 2-day-old child.
Yeah.
Relax.
It's just real creepy that on more than one occasion, Stephanie Meyer does like the imprinting thing with babies and toddlers. And it's just like, why? You really just didn't have to do that. You could have ended this series 1,000 different ways. You did not have to do that.
Oh, look, Riley's in her bedroom now.
Yeah, and he just kind of walks all over her house, which is really fucking creepy.
I'm surprised about his control, though. He's a new vampire, and he doesn't even touch Charlie.
That is true. I will give Riley credit. He doesn't actually
like he is literally nose to nose with Charlie on the couch while he's asleep.
Yeah.
And nothing.
It's like Charlie's like when Bella comes home, it's like, yeah, Edward needs to respect meal times because you're home really late. It's like, oh, but I was with Jake. Oh, well, that's great. He could be out late.
Oh, that's fine. You're with Jake. That's fine. He shows up on our house. It's like, I almost broke the treaty because I didn't know where you were. Fucking relax.
Yeah. Just like, dude, at this point in time, for the record, cell phones exist. Call her.
Yeah. She's got a fucking brick in her hand. Fucking call her.
Oh, shit. God, I love the Collins house.
Yes, of course it's Victoria. Even if you are immortal, but doesn't mean you can split. You don't have the ability to split into 3.
True. Like, despite the fact that they don't have to sleep, which would be something that would piss me off about being an immortal. I have to be awake all the fucking time. Are you kidding me? No. I wouldn't be able to eat the food that I wanted to eat. And, like, I couldn't have Starbucks anymore. Like, fuck that.
Honestly,
I'd much rather be a werewolf.
As cool as vampires are, I would much rather be a shapeshifter.
Oh, yeah.
Because I could still eat.
Mm-hmm.
I would be in the best shape of my life. I could eat a lot and be in the best shape of my life, not even try. Yeah. I can still go in the sunlight. I can still go enjoy the beach.
Yeah.
I can also,
all of that.
On top of all that, I now can shapeshift into insert animal here.
Yeah. Like, absolutely. What would be your preferred animal for shapeshifting? Now, you can take the idea in that it could be a much larger version, like the wolves here, of the animal, or you could be a normal-sized version. If you
I want to be a panther, a black panther.
Like Twilight werewolf size?
I want to be a big kitty.
Yeah, okay. So, like, way bigger.
And I love the way that they yowl. The way the panthers yowl, it's like a banshee screaming.
Yeah.
I want to be a giant Black Panther and just screech in the middle of nowhere and be like, who am I going to lure into my cave this way?
Oh, my God.
Because I would.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'd want to be...
I'm sorry.
I kind of want to... Oh, yeah, like, they're making
Edward is just making out with her in front of Jacob just to prove a point, and it's gross.
And really awkwardly, too, by the way. They just so much look like they're suffering.
Even Jacob's like, okay, I get the point. Moving on.
Jacob was all of us in that moment. But, like, if I was going to be a shapeshifter, I kind of want to be a bird just for the ability to fly. Because I just think that would be really cool. Or a cheetah, because then you could just be really fast. But I think a bird would be more useful. And in, like, probably a normal-sized bird, because I'd want to eavesdrop on people a lot.
That's fair.
But maybe, like, a bigger, like a
I can see you as a pretty macaw.
Oh, thank you. That would totally destroy my ability to blend in with anything. But I could bite people's fingers off, and I would not mind that.
But everybody would want to be near you because you're a macaw.
And they can talk, too. So
exactly.
I could literally just be like, nah, bitch. Nah, Polly wants $100.
Polly means your hair is shit.
We could have a side show attraction on the side, and you just take me to carnivals and shit like that. That would be amazing.
Right? You're gonna
Oh,
dress
there's
better for a
Seth.
bonfire party?
I stand corrected. There's Seth,
There's the baby.
who thinks Jacob is the coolest thing since absolutely ever. I love the wolves. God, they're so much cooler than the Cullens, with the exception of Jasper and Emmett. You know, in the official guide, it gives you Billy Black's backstory, and he was friends with Embry's dad, or not Embry's, Quill's dad, and one of the other ones, because it was his grandfather that was the last werewolf, and he'd seen them when he was young, and so he knew that they were real. And him and his two best friends. Oh, look, another flashback. That's fun. At least this one's period appropriate, though.
Yeah. Although they're wearing more clothing
Yeah.
in this versus the 1930s, which makes absolutely no sense.
Well, this one here, like this flashback, takes place in the very early, like, colonization of America. So, like, more or less, the outfits, at least for the vampires, are period appropriate.
Yeah.
I do not know anything about the actual history of the Quillerite tribe, so I can't say whether or not their outfits are accurate or not.
Yeah.
But also, this story is not, like, the history story that she shows is not in the official illustrated guide as a part of their history very much.
She should have more blood coming out from that stab.
She also could have just cut her hand.
That too. She could just cut her hand and to get the attention of the vampires instead of stabbing herself in the gut.
True. Like, Billy tells this story about, like, the first cold ones that his tribe encountered, and, like, the history that involves the wife and everything and her sacrifice. The worst story to tell to Bella, who is fully willing to sacrifice herself at
And
any
I'm pretty
moment.
sure Billy knows that. Jacob knows that, which is why Jacob brought her to this party. And Billy told this story specifically.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, maybe don't sacrifice yourself, girl. But she will
Don't
take the
be a
wrong
dumbass.
message from this. She will take the wrong message from this and take it as a thing she should be doing. It's just like, no, don't.
No. It's the
don't
opposite
stab
of what you
yourself.
should be doing.
It's like, this is supposed to be a warning story, not an. Here's some ideas.
This is not a let's take some notes ideas.
Yeah. It's like, let's not do that. But no, she'll take it as, hey, look at these things I could do. I could stab myself.
Because Bella's a fucking moron.
Yes, she is. She's
Edward, I found a way to save you. I must stab myself in the presence of a red-eyed vampire to make sure they stay away from you. Cool. And what happens after that?
A
You're
bunch
dead.
of bullshit. Yeah.
You're fucking dead.
Yep.
You turn into a meal.
Like, Bella in this movie, in all of the movies, but in this movie particularly, exudes the common sense of just like a duck. A deranged duck. A deranged duck with no self-preservation skills. Like, wildlife, for the most part, has better self-preservation skills than this woman does, because she just fully just whatever she wants, man, because Lord help you, this is not a girl who understands how to take care of herself, keep herself safe, and maybe just give a shit about anybody but her.
No, I mean, I really have never met a more selfish person than Bella.
Honestly, because she just doesn't care that a bunch of people are going to mourn the fact that she's dead, or doesn't give a shit about how Jake feels for the most part.
Forget hurting people's feelings. Like, you're going to be fucking up a like years-long standing treaty, tradition, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, it's not just like a couple of your friends you're going to be fucking over and your mom and dad. It's a whole people.
Yeah.
There's more than just 4 players in this. There's
no shit.
There's the Volturi. There's the whole Quileute tribe. There's
exactly
the entire town of Forks. Oh, we're back in the docks with Riley.
Oh yeah, there's Brie Tanner. Her short story book was the only one I never read. Then again, I didn't really care. So short wife of Bree Tanner.
What is she supposed to be? Like, she's supposed to be Riley's like girlfriend?
No, she was just somebody that they found.
Okay.
No, Riley's sleeping with Victoria.
That's right.
No, Bree Tanner's just somebody that they found.
Just try not to get killed. All right.
Also, they can't keep you there. You're a vampire, and that is a chain link metal fence trying to keep you in.
Yeah, that's just a
I
little.
can get through
That's
a chain
a
link.
punch or a jump, and you're gone.
I mean, I can climb a chain link metal fence. You can.
See, this is why I like Emmett. You know, Jasper's all like moody and like newborns within the first couple months, the bloodlust, the blah blah blah, and Emmett's just like sitting in the corner and smiles, going, "This will be fun."
Honestly, I love them both. They're great. Emmett is just takes everything like as an interesting challenge.
Yeah.
And Jasper is just like gloomy
Jasper's the
practicality.
strategist. He's the strategist.
Yeah.
He's like, I gotta find a way out of this.
Exactly.
He's the Ravenclaw.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Emmett's the Gryffindor.
Very true. As much as I don't like it, I think Alice is a Slytherin.
I mean,
She's
if anyone,
ambitious as fuck.
yeah, yeah. I don't even put Edward in any of
Edward's
the
a
houses.
muggle.
It's a fucking muggle. Sorry, Cedric.
Sorry, like,
You're not
there's
even
a
Hufflepuff.
vast difference between Edward and Cedric.
Cedric wasn't the nicest or the greatest, but
I liked Cedric.
he was all right.
Yeah, like, I mean, he's not in my top 5 or 10, but, you know, he's pretty cool.
Yes.
The thing about it
Now she's thinking about, what am I
like
going to tell everybody? That I'm not going to be home for Christmas or holidays for like the next foreseeable future that until they die.
And in all honesty, the thing about it is like, there's a change, a physical appearance change. But if you say you go off to college for like a year or so and like you wear the right colored contacts, put some makeup on,
You
it's
grew.
just not that much
You
of a
grew
change.
up a little
yeah,
bit.
You grew up. Like, people won't see you for like a year and they'll be like, wow, she looks really different. Put, like, if they think
And
you're
that's
too pale, put some fucking
normal.
makeup on. Yeah.
I've looked at people like from, my school like years later and be like, they've changed a lot.
Yeah, and you're supposed to, especially at like the age Bella is at like 18 and going off to college and everything. Like, yeah. And if you think that you're showing up too pale to these people, put some makeup on. That's why makeup exists.
Right?
To change your appearance. Put makeup on if you want to look more like yourself. Like, Lord help you. This Alice is all of her decades of practice with fashion and everything didn't teach her how to put on makeup.
No. She's just a doll to Alice.
Yeah. Well, if special effects artists can make you look like an alien, you can get some makeup to make yourself look a little more human than you are.
This is true.
Like, Jesus. There are Hollywood special effects artists that can make you look like you're like some kind of 9-foot tall alien with like tentacles. Then I'm pretty sure you can figure out how to make yourself look a little more like you did before.
And when Edward, like, while they're talking in her room late at night about, like, what am I going to tell people when, what excuse am I going to give for when I can't visit them? And he's just like, I'm never going to let you go or something like that.
Yeah, he completely disregards her questions and her statements.
And I just go, at this point in my life, if someone comes up to me and says, I'm never going to let you go, I'd be like, I'm running for the door.
Yeah.
Because
like,
I don't want to belong to anybody.
Like, yeah, no, Edward 100% treats her like property, not a person.
I get it. Like, you were around in 1917 or whatever, or earlier, or 1900, 1901. I don't, like, it's 2005 at this point. Like, women's, votes for women and everything. Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
What is the truth, Jacob? Ugh. Sorry.
Jacob confessing his love. It's just like,
you need to know the truth. I'm in love with you. And the look on her face is like, what? I don't She says the words, I don't understand. What is there not to understand? Can you not?
Pretty direct.
Like, he was direct. He said the words, I'm in love with you. The amount of, like, did you forget the amount of times you spent at his house in New Moon?
Like, you definitely could have fallen in love with him if you just hadn't gone after Edward, and this would be a much better relationship for you.
Had you chosen the wolf, you would have been in better hands.
Much better decision, in all honesty. And I love how she's like, I'm not rushing into this decision to give up my whole life and my mortality and destroying my whole family.
He's throwing out all the good points. You don't have to change for me. You don't have to say goodbye to anybody.
It's like you can be a person.
You can be you.
Yeah. You can be around your family. You can be in society. You
don't have to worry about what you're going to tell Charlie or Renee about why you're not visiting and break their hearts.
And be with somebody who's not a controlling psychopath. She breaks her hand punching him.
She punches him in the face after he kisses her. It's like, what did you expect? Like,
yep.
Oh, here comes Edward trying so hard. Oh, there he is.
He looks like a drug addict in this scene.
He does look like a drug addict. Just veins popping up. Like his hair looks all oily and sickly.
He's got super dark circles under his eyes. He's dressed like a trash man. And not like a person who picks up the trash, but somebody who
I also love the little the subtlety of like when she tries to move them apart, they do not budge because they're both so strong. But the minute Charlie touches them, it's like they're like, all right, we'll give in.
Yeah,
because we cannot let Charlie know that we're not human. Bella broke her hand punching my face.
Yeah.
Charlie buys it.
How do you, like, I feel bad for Charlie because he wanted her to spend time with Jacob to get her away from the toxic psycho men. And
every time she comes home from hanging out with Jacob, there's Edward.
Well, the thing about it is he sent her to go hang out with Jacob. So she gets away from toxic men just to go hang out with an angry man who she punches in the face and breaks her hand. Like, Charlie, you were the only non-toxic man in her life. Like, everybody
Even Mike Newton is toxic.
Oh yeah, Mike Newton is super like shallow and toxic. Holy shit.
He's perfect for Jessica. What's her name? Jessica?
Yeah, Jessica. Yeah. I love Emmett. He's like, how did you hurt your hand? She's like, I punched a werewolf in the face. Like, badass.
The glare that Rosalie just like, you Emmett, don't encourage her.
Honestly. It's like, Emmett, that is still your wife. Like, you're very nonchalant about how angry and unhappy Rosalie is.
I'm pretty sure they have a certain understanding. I'm sure they have really great sex to make up for that.
They've apparently destroyed a couple of houses, so, while doing it.
That explains it.
Yeah. They've apparently lived together away from the family a couple times, and they keep having to rebuild the houses because they just keep destroying houses.
Rosalie coming out for the truth. I don't hate you, but I don't like you either.
No, honestly. The really thing that gets me is the fact that Rosalie's eyebrows are a dark brown.
And her hair is blonde.
Which implies that her hair is bleached that way and dyed that way, which is something they can't do as vampires.
Yeah.
At least dye her eyebrows to match. I love how Rosalie's just like, you have a choice and I didn't. You're choosing wrong. It's like, I hate to, like, look, Bella's not doing a great thing, and she's not necessarily doing a right thing either, but it is still her choice to make. You don't get to tell her.
It's still her choice to make, but at least she's now coming out and tell her why. She's like, I don't like you.
Her issue isn't the fact that Bella's too young to make this decision.
It's the fact that she's making it at all. It's like, you have the choice to stay human.
Yeah,
versus I didn't.
Rosalie wanted to get married. She wanted to have kids. She wanted to have a family and the whole like 9 yards and everything, which is great and wonderful for the people who want that. That's completely fine. However, like, just because she wanted that doesn't mean she can demand other people have that just because she now can't. Like, that's a bunch of bullshit.
No, Rosalie, don't go too near. No.
And it's I do stand corrected. Earlier, we had talked about where Rosalie was coming back from. When she ran into these guys, she was visiting a friend. I looked that up earlier.
Ew. Again, more scenes of gang rape. Like, possible gang rape. What is it with Meyer?
This one's not even possible. This one just happens. And, like, in public, too. Like, right in the middle of the street.
Like, obviously manhandling her. She's screaming no while they're all drunk. And, like, this actually happened.
Yeah.
Which is why she turned. And you're telling me.
And then they left her to die, and
you
Carlisle
are a religious Christian.
Yeah.
Albeit Mormon. But still.
Stephenie Meyer must have, like, a creepy-ass fetish.
She's got to have some kind
yeah.
of like gang rape
Yeah.
fetish, because this is the
Yeah.
second time.
It's just like, holy shit. However, I will say, I love the fact that Rosalie got revenge. In her wedding dress, hunted down each of these men and murdered every single one of them because you fucking go, girl.
Oh yeah,
You
look at
fucking
that
go.
with the red eyes and the
Oh,
bloodlust and
yeah.
that dress. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
stay theatrical, honey.
Yeah, hell yeah. Be theatrical. Murder those rapists in your wedding dress. And like, I do feel bad for Rosalie because she had this future that she really wanted, and by all rights should have had. And then one dumbass motherfucking guy destroys her whole future and her whole life because he's drunk with his friends and couldn't get anywhere else. And like, her whole future was ruined. Her whole life is ruined. You know, and she can't have what she wants. But
I
at
mean,
the same
granted,
time,
when she did say she didn't have a choice, she did. She could either choose, what Carlisle offered, immortality,
yeah.
or she could have died.
Well, in that regard, like, she was dying, and it was like, the offer was, I can save you, not I'm going to turn you into a vampire and you're going to live forever, and all of the implications that it incites. So, like, at the same time,
Still,
though,
if
she
someone
decided
comes up to you when you are dying that I can save you, it's like, no, I know I'm about to die in the next 5 seconds. Like,
yeah.
you can't.
Most people are not going to say no.
Fair.
And it's just like, especially if they want to live. But she wouldn't have had the context of knowing what exactly she was going to be living as. But at the same time, like, I understand where Rosalie's coming from and her having that choice of the life that she wants taken away from her. I don't really think there's necessarily wrong with the fact that Carlisle saved her life or, changed her into a vampire, but because it's Royce, her former fiance, that totally fucked her life up and everything. But, and that's absolutely awful. Everything that happened to Rosalie is absolutely terrible.
Oh my god.
But at the same time, she doesn't have the right to tell Bella how she should live her life. Now, granted, Bella's a fucking idiot. There's no question about that. Like, Bella's just an idiot. But
I agree.
choices.
Rosalie does not have the right to, to force her own wishes and stuff onto Bella. But it's Bella.
Yeah, because like Bella's idea.
Like, there's no sugarcoating things for Bella. You can't like hint at things for her because she won't fucking get it.
Yeah. Like, Rosalie's issue with Bella becoming a vampire isn't because she's going to leave her whole family behind, isn't because it's a terrible choice, and she's not old enough or anything. No, it's literally just because then she can't live the stereotypical life that Rosalie wanted. So, like, Rosalie's right to question Bella turning, just not for the right reasons.
Right. And Jane and Felix came out of fucking left field.
I forget that the Volturi are so much in the third one.
Because they're just standing there watching Riley and trying to get a handle on the newborns that he's made.
Yeah. Which, I love how Riley's like, you need to be quiet and subtle. There's a car on fire.
I said not to cause a scene. Car's on fire.
And
people are screaming.
And throws it, and it's just like
people are screaming in fear. Riley's screaming in anger. Like, this is not keeping a low profile. You're just attracting more attention.
He's telling them to be subtle. It's like, you're murdering people by the dozens, and you want them to be subtle.
You made newborns.
Yeah.
You're gonna need at least 6 months for subtle.
Yeah, and it's like, you're making a lot of them, and you're keeping them in a city full of what they want to eat. You're not gonna get subtle.
See, staying in a place like Forks makes fucking sense when you're creating an army of newborns.
Keep them in the forest. They don't need to do anything. Just keep them in the forest.
People disappear on a hike. A bear ate them. Whatever. People, it's fine. Like, it'll garner some attention, but it'll be more like another tourist hiker lost in the woods. Oh, so sad. Versus 20 people went missing in Seattle yesterday.
Yeah. It's just like, look, I know Seattle's got a really high, like, crime rate and, like, a murder rate, but even Seattle doesn't have 20 people dead in a day.
You know where this would be perfect to build an army, a newborn army? Houston.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong. But then again, that's why that chick did it. That chick who turned to Jasper. Like, she took a lot of people from Houston. But then again,
Now I'm talking about Houston now.
yeah, like Houston now would be a great place to have people disappear because it's the #1 human trafficking city in the United
Exactly.
States.
It's sad. It's sad the fact that I even know that. But the fact that, yeah, it's.
Didn't I tell you that?
Yes, you did tell me. But
Yeah.
I remembered it going, oh, yeah, Houston's the one where there's all the trafficking.
Yeah. It's
Like,
great.
thinking from the villain's point of view, or in the. Whatever you want to label Victoria at this point, because everyone in here is a villain. Edward's a villain.
A bunch of bad factions.
But like, it's the cap. It is so much trafficking in Houston. Like, if people disappear, they're just gonna be lost in the backlog of all these missing people.
True.
Pick your locations better.
Yeah. And in all honesty, like Houston would be a good choice, and probably New York, just because wild shit happens in New York.
True.
I can't believe Jessica was valedictorian.
Yeah, Jessica didn't seem like the smartest one. Like,
apparently she had great grades.
the girl with the glasses. I always forget her name. The other friend.
Angela.
Huh? Angela. She should have been valedictorian. At least she
Yeah.
looked smart.
And I'm surprised.
Lol, nothing's permanent.
Jessica is so shallow as a person.
Oh, look at Charlie, so proud and happy as she graduates. And Bella's like, okay, well, I just get turned now. I did everything y'all wanted me to do.
Right?
Like,
this
girl.
I don't know where your graduation was held, but ours was definitely not held at the school.
In the gym.
Yeah, ours was held at the football stadium in Houston.
No, in the gym.
Right.
It fit everybody.
Yeah. Well, your school is a lot smaller than mine, too.
We were 60?
For your graduating class?
Yeah.
Hers was almost 400 people. So my school had over 3,000 people in it.
We had it at our peak. At our peak, our campus, going from pre-K all the way to 12th, had 1,100 kids.
My high school of only 4 years had over 3,000 people. So yeah.
Oh, look, Jacob and the boys showed up to this party. Where is this party being held? Not the Cullens' house, because they wouldn't show up.
I think it is the Cullens' house.
Is it the Cullens' house?
Yeah. Because Alice is hosting the party.
Bella, I'm sorry. I told you how I feel. But at least I had the balls to do so.
And want you to live and not ruin your life.
I'm sorry, I want you to be breathing.
Like, ruining your life, ruining your future, and making you abandon your entire family.
Oh, I forgot about the
little wolf charm he makes. Oh, I used to have a bracelet. It was Twilight merch that had a little wolf charm.
I think I did too.
Yeah. I think on it said La Push cliff diving team. It had a little charm on it. Oh, Alice is having a vision of Riley.
When isn't she having visions?
Fair enough.
Of course they're going to be coming here, because if Victoria's behind it, she wants revenge.
And I like the fact that they knew a newborn army was being created and they didn't tell the wolves. Like, that is a terrible idea.
Like the wolves are going to be like, why the fuck are we multiplying now? Like, why are they making so many people shifting? It's like, what's going on? The Cullens haven't turned anybody. Oh, no. These are just new ones showing up.
Yeah. Like,
Jacob, what damn army?
Yeah, it's just like they didn't tell the wolves that there was a possible incoming army, and it's like, what's wrong with you?
Like, didn't you think it would be a good idea to tell the wolves you have a treaty with about incoming,
like, evil vampires? Like, come
newborns?
on.
Come on.
I love Jacob.
It's Edward does to Bella, and Bella does try to do the same thing to Jacob, where she tries to like protect
not
him,
having it.
And she's like, you'll get yourselves killed, and he's like, I don't need your permission. I wasn't asking your permission to come and join this war. And because he actually stands up to her.
Yeah.
Versus
like he should.
when Edward says you shouldn't be involved, and she doesn't even get an answer. Like, even if she tries to explain why she should be logically, he just shuts it down.
Yeah. Like, at least the wolves would give them an edge in the war, because they're like 20 plus newborn vampires versus like 6 people is not
Like,
gonna go
literally,
well.
she Bella is so like obsessed with trying to protect him and keep him out of the trouble. She's like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into, and Jacob says, literally, he's like, this is what we're meant to do.
Yeah, like that is the
It's like,
full capabilities of a
we
wolf.
are
Is
shifters
fight their
for
own
a reason. Like,
vampires. Yeah.
we are meant to fight against the vampires.
We're
You're
meant to
telling
fight
me
against
I can't
all
join
evil
this party?
supernatural. Like they're there for the purpose of fighting evil that affects their tribe. That is one of the points of their shape-shifting abilities is to be able to fight against the supernatural.
I'm surprised
That's why
that
they're so good.
right? I'm surprised that
And there's
Edward
way
didn't
more
just snap
wolves.
off the charm bracelet that Jacob made for her.
Oh, but that would upset Bella in a way that he's not okay with. And there's so many more wolves than there are Cullens. You guys should probably understand that they can be helpful.
Right? Hi, Sam. Carlisle is the only decent one because he's just like, it makes sense. We need the help. Let's work
Yeah.
together.
And
Edward.
he's smart enough to consult Jasper, who has experience, rather than just going on the whims of Edward. Which, thank God for Carlisle, because that is the only truly logical person there.
And Edward's like, I don't want to work with the wolves because one of them has a crush on my girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's like,
And Jasper's like, no.
Jasper's
like, wait a minute. We didn't agree to that. It's like, we gonna die. And Bella drives me nuts because she's just like, I don't want them to fight because they're gonna get hurt. Well, your so-called vampire family is gonna get slaughtered if they don't get help. So what do you want? Somebody's gonna die. I love Jasper. He's so dramatic. My dramatic boy.
Your boy and my boy putting on a show. I love it.
Hell yeah.
Don't hold back.
Not in my nature.
I will admit Jasper's the better tactician, so he's the better warrior.
He's had a lot of practice.
Emmett's got brute strength, but that's about all he got.
It's weird to see Carlisle fight though, because he's just such a peaceful person,
right? But I also just love Sam. Just go you can tell he's trying not to smile at the Cullens beating each other up.
Just are so sarcastic too. I think Rosalie would be the one person I wouldn't want to fight. She looks like she could be a bitch in a fight.
Jasper and Alice fighting each other is like a flirtatious dance between the two of them. You know they're gonna go bang later. Now. Kiss on the cheek. All right, goodbye. I'm also picturing this without CGI. That Jacob is just in a gray suit with green dots all over him, and she's just leaning into him.
Yep.
Nothing more sexy than
Wasn't
that.
there a tennis ball on a stick at some point?
Probably. Yeah, it's probably what she's petting right now. It's like
I've
the tennis ball where his head is supposed to be.
Version, and it's like cardboard and a tennis ball and all that. Yeah.
I fucking hate Edward.
They've the movements of the wolves move more like horses, and it's really weird to me. Yeah, they kind of lumber the way horses move. I mean, and it's just
I'm picturing my dog as she leaps and bounds through places. Sorry.
Yeah, but the hindquarters area is really awkward, and it kind of shifts the way a horse is trying to awkwardly move, and it's just kind of weird. Just I don't know if they studied wolves when they did this, because it's not how a wolf walks. Because that's not how my dog walks. Either of my dogs. I've never seen a wolf walk in such an awkward, hip shifting kind of a way. I don't know. It just looks kind of weird. But I really like the training scenes that that are in this movie, just because it's interesting to see them actually fight and realize that, despite the fact that they try to present themselves with the sophistication and everything, you are still capable of, punching a dude.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you, Edward. You are still capable of punching a dude like everybody else. So I don't know what to tell you. I love hearing about Jasper's history.
I also forget he has an accent, so I'm enjoying it.
It's interesting that he has an accent still after several hundred years of not living in Texas.
Lol, Jasper, how do you know so much about all this? I was part of it.
Yeah. Jasper's history is really interesting to me because he's just has such a different history to all of the other Cullens. Youngest major in the Texas Cavalry. He talks from the side of his mouth all of the time.
It's hot.
I mean, I didn't say it was wrong.
It's hot.
I just said I noticed it. He smirks a lot and he talks out of the side of his mouth.
Riding back to Galveston.
Yeah, Galveston is the beach town just south of Houston. It's evacuating people from Galveston to Houston.
So you come up on 3 strangers.
Yeah. He stopped because he thought they needed help being escorted back to Houston. He was trying to be a good person.
He's being a gentleman, and they're just like, "Oh, look, meat."
Yeah, and they're just like, "Oh, I'm gonna turn you." I think her name is Maria.
Ma'am. Marie. So she was the one that was making. Yeah, she was the one making the army.
Yeah, she's the one who made the army. Yeah, Maria ended up taking over a very large portion of the South, mostly thanks to Jasper.
Because he's good.
He was better than every other newborn. Even after he no longer had newborn strength, he knew exactly how to train them, teach them, and defeat them. And in considering the fact that he was 19 and he was that good of a strategic, person to be able to understand all of that and understand how to just suddenly just lead an entire army and train an entire army all of his own, that's kind of impressive.
It's very impressive.
Yeah. We never do really talk about his 2 friends, Charlotte and I want to say.
Oh my God, I forgot about Charlotte.
Charlotte and who was the other one? Paul?
Paul sounds about right.
It only throws me off because there is already a Paul. Peter. Yeah, it's Charlotte and Peter. I also think it's interesting that Alice had a vision of Jasper before they ever met, and she had a vision of their future together and like their life together. And I think Stephanie Meyer did that for the purposes of, since Jasper can control emotions and everything, she didn't want people to think, Jasper was controlling Alice's emotions and like making her be in love with him and everything like that, which I can understand because that would be a very good point. But Alice saw their future together before they ever met, so she knew she'd be happy with him, which, that's fine and everything, but not doesn't really change the fact there's so many other relationship problems with this story. Like, that was her worry, was, that it was going to be taken that Jasper was manipulating Alice, when the real manipulator is Edward.
It's okay if, no, we can't have, that happening, but it's fine with the main character being that.
Yeah. So my favorite part of this movie is always Jasper's backstory. It's because I think it's really interesting to hear about like the wars of the South, and they tie a lot of the bloodshed in of the newborn wars of the South into a lot of the bloodshed of the Civil War. Which I find really interesting. Apparently the newborn wars lasted longer than the Civil War, and they tie it into like other battles and stuff like that from
did the newborn wars, they were happening before the Civil War started, right? Or during?
They were happening before the Civil War, picked up a lot during the Civil War, and continued after. And eventually what happened is Jasper made friends with somebody named Peter, who was coming towards the end of his 1 year. And Peter fell in love with a girl named Charlotte, who was also changed. And when Peter and Jasper together were destroying the newborns who had lived their usefulness at that point. And one of the ones that Jasper brought in to be destroyed for him and Peter to kill, because Peter was pretty much Jasper's second in command, one of them was Charlotte, and Peter yelled at her to run, and so she took off, and Jasper, who had the opportunity to go after Peter, decided not to, because Peter was going to go after Charlotte to go be with Charlotte, and he asked Jasper to go with him, but Jasper didn't. It wasn't much longer after that like Jasper did leave eventually
and met Alice.
Because he met Alice a little later.
Okay.
It wasn't right off the bat. But he actually got out because, like, the war continued a bit after Jasper left. And it really did. Her army really destabilized without Jasper there because he was pretty much the key holding everything together. What ended the wars in the South with the vampires was the Volturi, because they showed up and annihilated everyone involved.
Because they got out of hand.
Yeah, and they annihilated everybody. Maria and everybody else that she was going to war with, all of the newborns and everything. It wasn't long before Jasper had left that the Volturi got there. So he was very lucky to have escaped when he did, because they came and annihilated just fucking everybody. So, because they did not give a shit. And because Arrow only collects people with very unique abilities, because so many people have abilities that are similar to each other. So he wants
Arrow wants his own army.
Yeah,
and
he wants his
because
own
he's
army.
the head of the vampires that he's put himself there, nobody else can have an army but him.
Well, and he also wants an army of people with the best version of these powers. Like, he wants Edward because
He wants the
Arrow,
X-Men of vampires.
Yeah, well, Arrow has the ability to read every thought you've ever had, but he has to touch you to do it. But Edward has like the pinnacle of that ability because he can read what you're thinking now. And he also wants Alice because Alice can see the future. And like, he's had similar people with similar abilities or lesser abilities, but when he finds somebody with a better version of that ability, he will get rid of whoever he has and replace them with this new person. So, I mean, Arrow is a collector of people, which is creepy as fuck. But, I mean, the Volturi are creepy as fuck. So, I mean, Arrow's the one who murdered his own sister just to keep the Volturi together. So, just because his sister and Marcus wanted to go live
we
happily.
have Marcus and, was it Caius? As part of the Volturi, but really, who are we kidding? Who's the world? Like, who's Meyer kidding? It's all about Arrow. Arrow's the one that has all control.
Yeah, that's true. And Marcus has no idea that Arrow's the one who killed his sister. And because let me tell you, they easily could have made a sequel to this series about the destabilizing of the Volturi with that one secret alone.
But I'm glad they didn't, because I don't want to read more of Meyer's work.
Oh, no, absolutely fair. Like, I don't want to read any more. Like, let's not do that. But, yeah, like, I don't, there does not need to be any more of Twilight. Like, no, thank you. There doesn't
Twilight
need to
was
be.
bad. The Host was bad.
Oh, the Host, I think, was actually worse. And that's really, that is the worst book I've ever read. And I've read the Driver's Ed Manual.
Like, there's a worse book out there for me, and people might hate me for this, but I actually finished The Host. I finished all the Twilight books twice.
Fair.
Like, I was very confused reading The Host, because I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, none of this makes any sense.
It did not.
Like, nothing is explained. Anyways, I actually finished that book. The book I did not finish was the new Christopher Paolini book.
Which one?
Oh, something about
that giant one?
Yeah, with the blue and black cover. Hang on.
Yes.
Hang on. I will tell you right now. Let me go to my Goodreads.
Yeah, I know what book you're talking. That is a terrible book. But I will wait.
That is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars.
That was a terrible book. That was a long, terrible book.
I love Paolini. I loved Aragon, Eldest, Persinger, and Inheritance. I read them all. I have them all.
Yeah.
I barely got through half of To Sleep in a Sea of Stars until I put it in my DNF pile on Goodreads. Like, I couldn't.
Yeah. It was not a good book. Well, the thing about this movie is we have to get through more than half of it in order to actually have anything interesting happen, because we are over the halfway mark and they're just now getting to like the training, which at least that was interesting. But
the training with the Cullens and the Wolves is the most action we're gonna see in this.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there's a little action at the end, like during the fighting and all that.
Not as big as it should have been.
No, but none of the action scenes in this movie are. But despite the fact that we've actually hit an action point, or I guess because we've actually hit an action point, we are going to wrap up this episode, and we will continue our review and bashing and honesty of Eclipse in part 2, and we'll actually get to the fight scene, the brief fight scene that there is, and continue to watch Bella spiral into a toxic and abusive relationship and make poor life decisions. Edward become an increasingly controlling psychopathic person, and Jacob just try to keep his shit together and fail. Yeah. So I hope you guys all tune in for our next review of Eclipse.
Yes, please. Please come finish this with us. You've come this far.
You've honestly, you've come this far, you could keep going. Like, come on. Relive our youth with us, because my God, if this was popular back then, what was wrong with our society? But I mean, granted, I'm the last person to talk because I was a very big Twilight fan back in the day.
I mean,
but hey,
like at 16 years old, it had a certain appeal.
Yeah.
It had a certain appeal. What I don't understand is how women in their 40s went and are probably still going ape shit for 50 Shades of Grey.
No.
Which is a fanfic of this stupid movie, book, series, whatever.
What I thought you were going to say is the fact that women in their 40s and older were super into Twilight and were throwing their underwear at Robert Pattinson and Taylor Lautner when they were like in their very early 20s, and these older women are throwing their underwear at them.
Didn't we already say that Taylor Lautner was 18 when he filmed New Moon?
I think so. I think at some point we established
he was
that.
barely an adult.
Yeah, and these middle-aged women are throwing their underwear at him in public.
Yes,
it's
like that is fucked up. But still, we have how the fuck did we get a fanfic, terribly written fanfic of this disgusting series turned into a major published series turned movie?
And what really gets me with it is actually a series that is worse than Twilight. I didn't think it was possible, but it is.
Like I said, I've read Twilight twice. I read the series twice. The first time I was 16, and it was like the best thing in the world at 16. I read it again at 20, and I wanted to puke. I read just one line in 50 Shades of Grey, and I physically gagged. Like,
yeah, it was bad. I didn't read. I think I read 2 chapters.
No, I just read one fucking line, and I went, yeah, can't do it. Like, just reading this, my eyes seeing it, and my voiceless narrator, in my head, I'm just going, ugh.
Yep. Yeah, I read the first 2 chapters, and it reads exactly like an absolutely horrid Twilight fanfiction. Now, I will say, there are many very good fanfictions out there. There are many fanfictions that are out there that are better than the series that they're about. 50 Shades of Grey is not one of them. 50 Shades of Grey is the lowest denominator of fanfiction whatsoever.
All right. Well, before it gets super awkward and Edward proposes with the world's ugliest fucking ring known to mankind.
The ring that I thought was, dirty.
It looks dirty. It looks just super dirty.
I also thought it was nail heads. I did not realize they were diamonds. I was like, what the fuck kind of ring is this? Unless someone mashed a bunch of metal together. It
looks like if you've ever been to one of those theme parks, you've seen one of those pressed pennies. And then I get the pennies get really long, and there's a design on it. It's like somebody took one of those in a dull silver, hammered some nails into it, put it on a ring, and then rubbed it in some dirt, and it was like, here you go, I love you. It's just the ugliest fucking ring on the planet, and it also looks like it needs to be dipped into that that Sonic blue cleaning stuff.
That blue cleaning powder.
Looks filthy. I understand it's his mom's ring from 100 years ago, but I don't think he cleaned it ever. Ever. And
doesn't matter how little he touched it or handled it or whatever. It's gonna get dirt no matter.
Yeah, and it's just even if you just left it in the box for 100 years, it's gonna fucking tarnish on some level. Also, the fact that it's tarnishing just means it's made out of some cheap ass shit, doesn't it? So,
that too.
You bought this girl who you want to marry because you were jealous of her best friend who's a wolf who made her a little charm on a bracelet. You bought her a real fucking diamond to hang off of the bracelet, but you just gave her a shitty ass engagement ring, which on no level looks like an engagement ring.
Like, I'm sure at that point, in 2000, whatever year they're supposed to be in, it's the early 2000s. Like, yes, there are plenty of newer designs for rings.
It doesn't look like an engagement ring. For one thing, it's huge and absolutely, like, if I was to wear it, would take up all of the space from like my knuckle to like the a part of my finger. Like, I think I'd have a hard time like maybe bending my finger, or like it would come past like the knuckle on my finger that the ring would sit on, and it would just like, I don't know, because it's huge, and I don't. It's the ugliest motherfucking thing on the planet, and I'm just like, I was so disappointed like when I saw it, because during the book's release, like she had her Meyer had her website and everything, and she's like, I put a link on there so you guys could see what I thought the ring looked like, and I was like, oh, that's because it sounds much prettier in the book than it actually is.
Everything sounds pretty in the book. The bed sounded prettier in the book.
And then like this is Stephanie Meyer's idea of what the ring looks like, and I click on the link, and it is this ring that they used in the movies pretty much, and I'm just like, oh, that's fucking awful. Wow. Holy shit. Like, damn. That's the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And they definitely went
not the direction you were thinking it was going to go.
I was thinking an engagement ring, not what looks like part of a brass knuckle. Like, I just don't fucking know. And I'm just like, oh, this is an ugly piece of shit. All right. Okay. I was not prepared. I wasn't prepared. So, but then again, like, everything in the books translates over. It goes from like being an 8 to like a 2 by the time it gets to the movies.
Yeah, it does. Everything just gets so weird.
And it's just, yeah.
And
It was one of the
bad.
things I liked about the graphic novels for Twilight. Is the graphic novels for Twilight are very pretty, and they actually convey emotions through the characters, which is
okay. I was gonna ask, was there an actual plot line? Like, with their actual emotions?
Like, it's really bizarre because, for one thing, the characters look entirely different. They look as beautiful as they're supposed to, for one thing, and
Perfect.
It has like that feeling and that story that you wanted out of Twilight when you read it the first time, like what it was supposed to meant to have been, reflects much better in the graphic novel than it does. Like,
I gotta read the graphic novels
I
now.
think they only did Twilight and New Moon. I don't think they ever actually did the rest of them, because I just don't think they were that popular. They came out kind of late. Let me see if they went. I don't know if they did the rest of them. I know they did New Moon, but and Japan, for the record, has a manga of they do.
They do
100%
not.
do.
Oh my god!
I actually have a screenshot. I'll send it to you. Unfortunately, it is fully just not in English on any level. So like, I can't purchase them.
Damn, there's no translated version.
But let me send it to you.
I mean, I found it.
Manga?
No, not the manga. The graphic novels. I don't want to really buy them, but
do you see if they have Eclipse? I'm curious.
Okay, let's go back. Oops. Twilight graphic novel, volume 3. Is there a volume 3?
3 volumes. Did they only do the first part of New Moon?
No. I don't know.
Here, let me take a screenshot of what I'm looking at, and let me see if that helps.
Why did you send me to the children's bookshop? Okay.
I highlighted the manga in yellow, but I also highlighted the graphic novels as well. Each graphic novel, like Twilight, the Twilight one has 2 parts, and I think New Moon, I know, has 1, but I don't know if it has any more than just 1.
Let's see. Yeah, I just see Twilight graphic novel volume 1, volume
I know
2.
they did New Moon as well. I don't know if they did. I guess they might not have done the other ones. Or at least they were supposed to. Yeah, it says followed by a New Moon graphic novel. Yeah, they only did, let's see, the adaptation.
That would have been a smart place to go check was the actual author's website. Ani, you're an
I
idiot.
went to Wikipedia for so. It says the New Moon graphic novel.
There's a music
Oh
video.
God, I hope not.
It says at the website. It says the Resolution music video. I don't
Holy
want to
shit.
know.
It says New Moon Volume 1 was released in 2013, and the release date for Volume 2 has been delayed indefinitely. So they did the first part of New Moon and then just didn't get any further. Because, I mean, that's kind of late, in all honesty. 2013.
Yeah, that is kind of late.
So, I
Buy the book. Where can I buy the book, and for how much? A hardcover on Amazon for $120.
You're telling me you can't buy it from her website?
It sends you to Amazon
Jesus.
for 120
That's
bucks.
insane. Like,
I'm
it's only
good.
$12. Like, look, Twilight graphic novel, $7 from Thrift Books.
Oh my god! If I click on the one at her from her website for the Twilight Volume 2 with
Yeah.
Edward on the cover, hardcover is $60. Paperback is $207.
You can get it from eBay for $9.
What the fuck? Like
Why would you do
why?
that? Also, her website's kind of fucking weird, isn't it?
Her website is horrible.
After you finish Midnight Sun, read this.
What?
She has book recommendations. Twilight Storyteller short films? Huh.
What book is The Chemist?
Oh,
What
that
the
was
fuck
her
is
book that she did
this?
after The Host. I don't think that came out that long ago.
I don't remember this book. It came out in 2016.
Yeah.
I don't remember this book at
It's because it
all.
wasn't any good. Because you remember how after...
Of course it
Well,
wasn't
you
any
remember how
good.
after J.K. Rowling finished Harry Potter, she tried to write like those murder mysteries or whatever, and they were just terrible? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, but like the Resolution music video is what now? Jack's Mannequin, the Resolution. There will be a 4-part series of the making
What?
of the revolution provided by the band. Why was she involved in the making of a music video? Why do I...
In the production of a video.
Oh, I'm gonna click on it. Oh, I've made a mistake. Oh,
I gotta see this.
it's so... Why does it look like it's in the 80s? What am I looking at?
Why is he whining?
Oh, the CGI effects are so bad. What the fuck am I looking at? Why is there just a single mermaid tail? What the fuck? Why is the house in the water?
Why is it? Is the water following him? Is the car moving if you're playing the piano? I can't tell.
Nope, he just found a fence in the middle of nowhere and is just sitting at it with the piano in the back of the truck.
What the fuck?
Hell? Oh wow, this is just as bad as the Twilight movies, and that's so surprising. Even the singer looks uncomfortable. Why did people think she could direct something?
She will be okay. She's not a director. She's a producer. Not the. Hang on, I gotta do research on this band.
God. Like everything is...
Ew, they're from Orange County. Ew.
Your Orange County or mine?
Yeah, my Orange County.
Why is he holding that telescope like a shotgun?
Who?
He drove around a lot just to end up at the ocean, dude. Like, what the fuck? Also, the green screen is so bad. Why is there a mermaid?
No wonder oh my...
Why is there a mermaid tail and only a mermaid tail?
I thought I recognized his voice. He's the voice of he's the lead singer of something corporate.
Oh my god, she really just infects everything she's involved in. Oh no, wait, there's the mermaid.
Oh, we see a mermaid?
Yeah, she looks like, if you've ever seen Lord of the Rings when they walk through the bog and all the dead people are under the water, that's exactly what she looks like. It's real creepy. Also, I think she had scales growing out of her boobs. Wow, there was no resolution to that.
The Glass Passenger, The Ghost
Which
of
is a
what is this? August 2008, an interview with MTV, Andrew revealed that the author Stephanie Meyer had written the treatment for the music video for the resolution and was set to direct it the
What does that
following
mean?
week.
I don't
I
know what a
don't
treatment
know.
for a music video is. Did it need CPR?
I don't know.
Because they should have left it dead. For a music video titled The Resolution, there is no resolution in the song. And he just really repeats
Mm,
those two words, the resolution, like 50
Mc-
fucking times.
McMahon said of the filming, it was a very cool shoot. Music videos are a tricky thing. They require a lot of trust in the team creating the visuals, and that can be a little scary. That said, there was great vibe on the set, and shooting by the water really made it especially a peaceful day. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, how do you trust Meyer
You know,
with
shit.
that? Like,
But what you should do is you should Google, and anybody listening to this should Google Twilight graphic novel and then go to images and look at the images because they look so much better. So much better. They all look so much better. And it makes it far more interesting because they look like they're supposed to. They act like you want them to act. Like Edward and Bella have a personality. And like I'm glad you're sitting down for when I told you that. But they both have personalities. Interesting personalities. The
right?
only downside is the fact that Jacob Black doesn't look good. Like Taylor Lautner looks
Aw,
way better. So,
of
and
course
to
he
my
does.
knowledge, you never actually see post change Jacob, but I'm not entirely sure.
Aw.
So, but yeah, no, I definitely suggest looking at the images because they look way better. And Alice looks real fucking creepy, by the way. But they look way better.
I mean, it makes more sense for Alice to look
Yeah,
creepy.
she definitely looks like she should be in a mental institution at that level. So is that? But yeah, at least Bella looks like a normal kid, not like she's having like a meltdown every 10 minutes.
I'm still lost in this fucking website.
Her website?
Yeah. Oh, she wrote like a government, like CIA
Yeah, it was real
mystery
bad.
thing.
It was real bad.
Uh,
Real bad.
I'm really, really not interested.
Well, now that
Okay.
we've done that, thank you for suffering with us for a little while. At least this movie was a little more interesting than like. Well, New Moon was pretty interesting, in all honesty. Stupid as fuck at the end, but like, you know, at least this one has like.
It's so
Yeah.
disappointing. I mean,
Yeah.
they all are. They're all
True.
disappointing.
At least
But
we know this one is going to lead into like a fight later, so
it
kind of.
it's not. I have many things to
Look,
say
none of the
about that.
fight scenes in this
Huawei.
series are any good because none of them actually do what you want them to do, especially the one in Breaking Dawn Part 2. Like that one was super
Exactly.
fucking disappointing.
I mean, I will give the fighting and the training some credit in Eclipse, just because I mean, we're gonna go with this is just how crazy I am. I like the sound of their diamond, chemistry just cracking and breaking, and you see the little crystal pixie dust. I like the sound they chose for that. I do. That really crisp, crunchy sound.
It's like an ASMR, but for violence.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That is exactly what that is. But the addition of the pixie dust, whenever like, a snap or a crack or whatever happens, it's great. And a pop,
To anyone who hasn't seen Eclipse in a long time, it is worth it. Just go on whatever streaming service you want. Fast forward to the part where there's the final fight scene and just watch them break the newbie vampires apart and watch the little sparkly like pixie dust that comes out because that alone is worth
poof
it.
of dust. Exactly. That I like that. I also really like, how we got to see, the vamps and the shifters move. So like that is the best and most action we're going to get in this entire series.
Like the book doesn't give you like Breaking Dawn, the book doesn't give you any action whatsoever. It spends like 400 pages leading to stuff that just absolutely never happens. At least the movie has a fight.
The book literally blue balls you.
But at least the movie has a fight. Like it's all a fucking vision, which is just bullshit. But at least it actually filmed the fight scene.
Yeah, it actually shows you what happens in her head.
At least there's that. So, because I thought the fight scene that they filmed for Breaking Dawn was part 2 was really good. It's just kind of fucks you, like it surprised the shit out of me sitting in a theater. I'm just like, there's a fight scene, and I'm just like, there's not supposed to be an actual fight scene. Like, yay, because this is really good. But then like everybody fucking dies, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? So yeah, but at least Eclipse the second part that we'll record has some action in it. It is the most real action that this whole movie saga will see, but at least it'll have some. Yeah. So,
I mean, it does have some very entertaining points, like when Jasper goes after whoever's trying to, who's going after Alice, and then what was it, Carlisle, who shows up for Esme and just punches the vampires in the face into the ground, and they're the ones holding them like a 90-degree
But to hear
angle.
more about that, you'll have to listen to the next episode. So we'll.
I should stop.
You're gonna get spoilers.
I should stop.
So tune in for the next episode where there's actually some fucking action. Bye, guys.
See you guys.
Cool.
Tune in next week for more fuckery because we have some serious questions and concerns.
We really had the opportunity to actually be done with this at a decent hour because Eclipse is only 2 hours long, and we didn't.
I was fucking around.
We fucking just bullshitted for an hour and a half. Like, we talked for an hour and a half with no recordings happening.